Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of Digital Soul Presents. I am very, very proud and honored to have one of my funk sisters on this go around, and she's a true beast at her instrument, a true player at her game, multi-talented bassist, vocalist, producer, and leader of her own, Miss Starr Cullars, also coming from the P-Funk family as well. How you doing, my sister?
Happiness, my brother JD. What's happening to your purple JD audience out there? Peace, everybody.
Very cool, cool. It's so good to see you again. How have you been for the last time I saw you was about a year ago, I think, or a
I
little bit
think
under
so. I think so.
under a
We
year.
were, yeah, we were trying to go to one of the Funk's shows in the area.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
you know,
Yeah, so it's so good to see you and catch up with you. And
I miss you. I love you to pieces. So I always love
thank,
time catching up with you.
love you back, of course. Cause love all you guys, man. All you guys, are my family, away from my family. So I
That's
appreciate
right.
it. So yeah, man, Star, we got some things to catch up on. Number one, you were actually doing this opening act deal, and you're moving. I saw that you were in sixth place now.
Can you believe that I just checked it myself? Okay, first of all, I'm gonna just, lay this out to you. I was invited by this contest called Opening Act. It's sponsored by these bookers in from New York. I think they out here too as well, but I think the basis is in New York, and it's really for us independent artists who have spent our entire careers and lives struggling, whether it's trying to manufacture and promote and put out records, or trying to book shows and get a tour. Um, I personally started booking the Starr Cullars crew back in Philadelphia, New York, years ago, and it was hard as hell. And guess what? It still is. If you don't have a booking agent or an agency to represent you, to properly put you out there to book, it is hell, hellish, hellacious, and all of that. So I was put into this contest called Opening Act, and what they do is offer independent artists a major industry promotion and performance shot for opening for some of these current people who are the current stars today. Right. So I just said, okay, let me just fill this out and, you know, plug it in. They give you this access to plug it into to Facebook. I guess that's their medium too that they utilize. And I was just like, well, let me just call out to my Facebook family people and see what happens. And so far, this I've been moved up again. So the show I found out is October 14th in New York. They haven't said who the major act is yet.
Oh,
Right. But what I did find out is they are allowing four of us to place. So whoever wins the big one gets this big prize and six airline tickets and hotel to go to New York. And then the second gets tickets, the third gets tickets, and the fourth place gets airline tickets, accordingly. Like the first is six tickets, the second place is four tickets, the third, I think, and the fourth place are two airline tickets and hotel rooms for you and I guess your management or whoever's your act is to go to New York and to plug into this industry machine. So, and of course, they're offering a small monetary prize for each place. So I'm like, well, the most awesome thing about this is that getting that industry booking agency plug. That's so. we'll see. I'm just as surprised as anybody else that they're, you know what I mean? Because I've been out here hustling doing this for a while, but I guess they see that one, independent artists, we are continuing on despite whatever because we're true musicians and we're true to what we do, and then I think in the industry, they're I think they're a little sick of the bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that they want some real artists back again, and they realize that all of the legends. My boss, Uncle George Clinton, is 83. Okay, Mick Jagger is 81. Keith Richards and them. All these people. Tina Turner just passed. She's a. All of our legends and them are older. Some of them has passed, like Queen Mother Tina. Some are still here, like George. But look at all the rest who are not. So you know what I mean. So I think they're realizing, hey, we need some quality, serious artists and musicians up in these ranks because this pop fluff crap that we're pushing isn't crap.
That's only going to go so far.
You know it.
The music that you and I like, that has never faded away. It's never lost an audience. There's always been an audience for true R&B, funk, rock.
You know it.
The real shit. That
You know it.
there's always been a place for it. But the stuff that's out now, we'll see 10 years from now how, if people still will want to go back and listen to that stuff.
Come on, that's the key. I just saw in an interview on YouTube from our boy, my old, my past mentor, Prince, and he was talking about. You might have even seen him talking about this, how the industry was 100% going to hurt and is hurting from not allowing true artists and musicians. And at that time, I think that was that time where he had put out that musicology record. That was the last great record he did, by the way. Okay. And he still going through crap with the companies and whatnot. So he sold the CD with the live concert ticket. So when you bought the ticket to go to the musicology show, you also got a CD, and that's how he sold millions of that CD. And of course, they stopped it from happening. Like they put some kind of barriers up so none of us could do it again. But he got it in and showed you that you can do it this way if you have the set up around you to do it, and you're not plugged into that main industry that's going to block you. So on the independent end, like us, that would be something great for us to do, right? Get a booking with a solid ticket price, and then include the CD. So I'm yeah, well, I'm still learning the valuable lessons from him as much as I miss him.
Yeah,
I miss him too.
yeah, we all learned a lot from him during.
Mm-hmm.
Our artists and non-artists learned a lot from just the way he,
Mm-hmm.
other artists producing music. His range. I think he taught us a lot. Through his music.
Mm-hmm.
It made us think that we did
it.
personally, even the ones that didn't.
Exactly.
We have an interesting. I know you weren't born in Philadelphia, but you were raised in Philadelphia, correct?
Well, yeah. Now that is some strangeness. My dad was a NFL draft. He was a college football star, and he was in college in Colorado. I was born in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains, and but I moved to Philly like around 2 or 3 years old and was raised, in Philadelphia, New York, and definitely in like East Coasted out. You know what I mean? I'm a straight New York, Philadelphia kid, but I'll tell you, I love the beauty and the peace and serenity of visiting the Rockies. And yes, I do ski, people. Okay, Ken Cullars, Dr. Cullars made sure that he taught his little girl to ski. That's right. We were the only black people skiing in the 70s. Was my father's ski club called the Glider Ski Club, and I used to race. I used to race when I was like 7, 8 years old. I used to see this little black girl shooting down a ski slope in Canada. That was me, like, Pew, there she goes. There's my daughter, everybody. There's my daughter. So yeah, it definitely a unique thing, and also I think that my father's unique perspective of how he was, obviously a very unique black man with a ski club and tennis, you know what I mean? He totally supported and encouraged me as his daughter to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean from buying instruments to being the promoter himself, getting little buses for me and my bands to go out and do shows up and down the East Coast and bringing, and then when I'm touring and gigging in Philly, bringing all his friends to different bars and making them watch me and stuff. I mean, he seriously, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Now, what age were you when you first got into bass?
I think I was about. I asked for an acoustic guitar when I was 5.
Oh, snap.
Okay, and let me just tell you, my father was not a musician, nor my mother. My mother did sing in church, and she's a debutante and all of that. My father was very entertaining, but neither one was a musician or a singer per se. And I asked for a guitar at 5 years old, looked up at my father, and was like, they handed me some little Roy Rogers little plastic thing. I looked at it and strummed it and went, and gave it back, was like, I want a real guitar. And they were like, how do you know what a real guitar is? So my father got me a little Yamaha acoustic nylon, and I strummed it and went ring, and said, and then I started playing. I was in a performing arts school, so my father put me in. I studied cello, viola. My father put me in guitar lessons at like 6, 7, 7, 8. And the guitar teacher was this awesome Crosby, Stills, and Nash hippie.
Yeah, yeah.
And he told my father, listen, Mr. Cullars, out of all the students I have in this performing arts school, your daughter is the most gifted guitarist I have. She seriously is a real player. You need to give her private lessons. So my father said, all right, cool. So he put me in private lessons with him. And then I really started getting deep. So I was playing acoustic guitar in my private Catholic school. I went to private Catholic school, Sacred Heart Academy. Yes, a uniform, people. Me in uniform, okay? And a little kilt, a little blazer, okay? And I was president of the senior class in a kilt. Thank you very much.
Young.
And and the Catholic church, they use acoustic guitar for their choirs and stuff. The liturgical Catholic school stuff. So I was one of the guitarists for my choir in school, and I started ninth grade with this dyke who was my gym teacher and history teacher and the choir teacher. She loved me because I could play. And she taught me all the stuff that we were doing. So when she left and all the upperclassmen left and we were seniors, I took over, was the head guitarist, leading the choir for years. Me and my little friend Sheila, who's now supporting me like crazy. She got 20 kids and I'm still doing this. So, I just, at like 14, 15, while I'm playing acoustic guitar, I start playing bass on the acoustic. I start hearing the bass notes and I start playing bass on the acoustic. And then all these brilliant musicians around me in Philadelphia said, Starr, you playing the bass, you need a bass guitar.
Like you must have attracted you to that bottom, huh?
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So I go to my father and say, Dad, I need a bass guitar now. Okay. He's like, all right, we got to get another guitar. So, I got a jazz copy real thick, looked like a tree trunk jazz copy bass. It was so hard to play. It was literally like telephone wires on the neck. It just, but it made my hands super strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I just morphed into. Then I got a jazz precision. Went back to my dad a couple years later. Like, all right, I need a new bass. And he gave me money for precision, and then we just went on from there. So I just I've been a string instrumentalist all my life.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And you mentioned one of our heroes a little bit earlier, the master himself, Prince. I gotta pretend like I don't know this story because I know we talked before, but you got an interesting story about your trek
Oh yes.
to the homeland. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? But after you decided to leave Philadelphia and make that trek to Minnesota to see the Purple One himself.
When I did that, I'm gonna tell you, I had already sent about 3 or 4 little demo packages. Mind you, these were cassette little beginner demo packages of mine. So how they were crappy. But you gotta learn. So I'm sending all these bad packages to Paisley Park, and I'm frustrated because
You're sending them through mail, right?
I'm sending through mail. Remember, people, this is before cell phones. This is before the computer.
Right.
This is before the internet. Okay? This is analog. You got to go to a payphone. You got to mail shit in the mail. You got to call people on an analog phone. Okay? That's what was going on. So, and the only people that had a cell phone was the famous rich people, and the cell phone was like a brick. You know what I'm saying? So, because Mudbone Cooper had one. So, I just was mad. And when I got back the rejection letters, they actually sent rejection letters. Thank you for, the standard industry. I don't know if you sent anything to a major record label before and got a rejection letter back, but I got, I was like, fucking rejection letter. What is this bullshit? And I was not hearing that. I was like, fuck that. I ain't hearing no rejection letter. So I found out where he lived in Chanhassen, in Excelsior, excuse me. Paisley Park is in Chanhassen. His mansion that he moved out of with the purple windmill was in Excelsior. Okay. So I said, all right, we're going. Come on, Armand, with my Italian boyfriend at the time. And we jump in. I come back to home to Philly, get some money from my father, tell him, don't give me nothing. I'm going to Minneapolis to get a deal. He's like, all right, don't sign nothing till you give me the contract. I'm like, all right. Go back to Pittsburgh. Me and Armand drive 16, 17 hours in a snowstorm, high on speed, so we can stay awake and get there. We go on to Minneapolis. We get there, it's 10 feet of snow, it's zero. It's fucking freezing, it's ridiculous. So I'm like, all right, we're going to camp out here at this University of Minnesota room. We got a little boarding room.
You remember what season it was? Was it winter or around winter? It was still snowing, you said.
Hello, right? It was New Year's Eve, December 88.
You chose then to go? Oh my God.
I went December 88. Going into January 1989, people. Okay? Yeah.
A little winter.
Okay? I didn't give a fuck. It's when I had to go. Okay?
So the mission.
Drove in a snowstorm. You hear me? Right. So get there, and I'm like, all right, tomorrow morning we're going to go find the mansion. So we get up, we leave a little boarding room. We go out into Minneapolis and find Prince's house. I found it. He had a gigantic, huge purple windmill in the back. Who else's house in Minnesota would this be? You understand? Minnesota, with a whole bunch of white people in the snow, okay? Of course, this is his house. So I go to the gate, and the guard's like, well, I can't let you in. I said, I know that, but I want to leave you a package. He said, I'll tell you what, Paisley Park, where you want to see him, is around the corner, around the this, that. And he directed me how to get there from the house. I said, great. It only took a few minutes from the back roads, from the mansion to the Paisley Park. Get there, the gates open, we drive in. He has personal parking spots that says him,
Him.
him, and shit. I'm like, and this before the symbol and all that crap, just him. I'm like, okay, this must be his parking spot. And of course, he had BMWs. He had purple BMW, he had a yellow BMW, he had a black BMW, he had a BMW. So I, knowing that they were his cars, wrote notes until we got kicked out the parking lot. I would sit there in the parking lot and write these notes and go, Dear Prince, I drove 17,000 miles. It was really only like 1,700 miles, whatever, to get to you, to give you my demo tape. Peace and love, Starr Cullars. And I would leave these notes on his car windshield, open up the car, put it in the seat. I was crazy. And then the security would come and throw us out. So I did this for like 3 nights, right? Now, mind you, I was already friends with Matt Bliston and Eric Leeds, pen pal, phone pal, right? So that's why I came, because they were like my phone pals, and they were talking to me to get the demo to him. They were taking too long. And I had got one rejection letter. I was like, fuck it, I'm going myself. So when I get there, Matt and Bliston, Atlanta Bliss, says, well, listen, Miles Davis is here doing some shit, but when he's done with him, you can come on in. I said, great, because I didn't really give a shit about Miles Davis. I respect him, but I didn't give a shit about Miles Davis. Okay?
Listen.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm there for Prince. So I'm like, cool, Miles is gone, thank God. So I can go inside. So I go inside like, ooh, I'm coming, I'm Paisley Park. I got my bass on my shoulder, a bag full of demo tapes, and I'm just crazy. I'm just running through the place looking for him, crazy. So when I finally run into him, I literally run into him. Like physically, I almost knocked him down. He's only 5'2" or 3 in heels. Okay, in heels, he's 5'5". Okay, I knocked him down. We get up. His manager is there, Steve Fargnoli, from the Purple Rain shit. He's still with him at this time. Remember, it's 89, 88. So, he's like, oh, you're Eric Leeds and Matt Bliston's little college friend from Pittsburgh, aren't you? I say, yeah, I'm from Philadelphia. I got a bass on my shoulder, all right? And I'm looking like this is crazy. He is so fucked up that there is a black woman with a bass guitar standing in the middle of his very private Paisley Park complex that nobody gets into. You understand? Nobody gets in this motherfucker, okay? And here I am looking at him going,
I'm ready to play,
all right? And he's like, oh my God. So Steve says, go ahead, honey, you can talk to him. He leaves us there. He puts us together. So we are literally standing at each other, staring at each other for a good 10 minutes. We're literally just staring at each other like. He's looking at my face. I'm looking at the makeup on him and how flawless it is. And I'm like, I don't even know how to put on makeup like this yet. I'm only 19. Yeah. I'm not even legal to drink. You understand what I'm saying? I'm like 19 years old. I'm straight up a kid in college. Don't know. You understand what I'm saying? So he just is like, he's so shocked, but he's so hitting on me at the same time that it's ridiculous. I'm like, oh no. I didn't come here to be treated like no damn vanity or Apollonia. Okay, motherfucker, I'm a musician like you. So he's all. So he goes, puts out his hand to shake it. And when he puts out his hand and I grab his hand, he never lets go. So when I go to try to let go, so we're doing this the whole time. We're talking. I'm pulling back and forth hands because he won't let my hand go. Okay? I'm like, all right, look, man, my name's Starr. I came here to give you my demo tape, and I'm friends. I ran down the speech on the letter.
Right.
And I'm shoving this cassette in his hand, like, you know, take this cassette. So he says, all right, wait a minute, you know, they got this thing here they do, you know, Alan Lees is the head of the company. You got to give it to him. And I said, you know what? Fuck that. I did that already. And I got the little letter back. I'm giving it to you now. And I shoved it. And he's like, oh, okay. He said, all right, listen. I tell you what. Because he saw I wasn't.
You ain't got no more time for this.
No, I'm gonna shove this thing in your throat. Or you gonna take this motherfucking tape, okay? And he was like, okay, listen. You go upstairs to Alan Leeds' office and you tell him that if I don't get your demo tape tonight, I'm gonna kick somebody's motherfucking ass. I said, snatch, cool, you got it. And I started going up the stairs. And he's standing there staring at me like, he's just standing there. I'm running up the stairs looking back at him like, I'm going to take it right now. You said, I'm going to take it right now. I go up there to Alan Leeds' office. Boom. Mr. Leeds, Prince said if he don't get this demo tape tonight, he's going to kick somebody's motherfucking ass. He goes, oh, come in, darling, and sit down. I said, all right, come in, sit down. He opens up his top desk drawer. Shh. There's all these little demo packages. They look like me. He said, is this you? I said, yeah, that's me. He said, oh, we didn't know who you were. He'll get it tonight, darling. Don't worry. Come on and sit down and let's talk. So, you know my brother. You went to school where my brother went to school at Duquesne and blah, 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 blah. So we sat there and talked for a while. Then he said, all right, listen, Prince is going to call you tomorrow and you're going to come back and he's going to audition you and everything. Okay, all right, darling, okay. I go back to the boarding room. I'm like, I got an audition. So now I got to call home. I call home and all my family's on all the phones in the house. My sister's screaming because she's younger. My mother's going, make sure you wear makeup and you put some lipstick on and make sure that you look. And then Ken Cullars. Now listen, don't sign anything until you get back to me and get the content. I'll get the lawyer and all at the same time. I'm like, all right, family, gotta go. Love you. Bye. Get up the next day. The audition is at night. You know, he's a fucking night owl. It's like I am. So I go back. Sheila Scavito is in there mixing her record that was never released. The second one. And it was all right. The first one was better. You know, Prince wrote everything. Miko's there. Miko, Levi, Fink, Sheila, Kat, somebody else, and the engineers, right? Managers. So they send me into the playroom, the studio B, it was the bigger studio. Playroom, studio A was small, the B is bigger. And then C was like some production bullshit. To set up my bass. So I go in the playroom and Levi and Sheila and them is in the engineering side, right? Looking through the glass. So now I'm getting nervous after all this, all right? So I'm kneeling down with my bass, and the engineer just souped it up, intonated it, and tuned it, and souped it up, and all this shit. So I'm just waiting on him. I'm like, oh Lord, don't get nervous now. Don't get nervous. Don't get nervous. So finally, he comes in with his dramatic ass. Comes in the door. Well, first of all, it's a billowing of smoke. I don't know if it's because it was freezing outside and the cold air was billowing it, but I swear to God, the air billowed into the room, okay, with him. I was like, look at the smoke coming in the room with him. He comes in, he's got that black and white outfit, that black and white polka dot, head to toe, scarf, jacket, pants, shoes, right? He smells divine, all right? He's holding all the notes I wrote. He's holding them in his hand and he starts reading them. Dear Prince, I drove 17,000 miles to give you my demo tape. Peace and love, Starr Cullars. And he looks at me and goes, bass player, huh? And now I'm tripping. Because I'm like, oh my God, he read the fucking notes out loud. He got all my crazy notes. So he starts walking around my body while I'm kneeling down holding the bass. And he's doing this. Female bass player. I ain't never seen a girl bass player before. And I can tell you, I'm hard on my musicians. And I expect he's walking around me like this. Okay, people? Like the circumference of this shit, he's that close, walking around me. And he says, is that your boyfriend? He's looking through the glass at the boyfriend Armand. And then he goes back. Well, I still ain't never heard a girl playing bass. And I expect that blah, blah, blah. Are you sleeping with him? He's talking about me and Armand. But are you talking about music or are you talking about me and Armand, motherfucker? Which is it? Gemini shit. Okay? And he's still going. He's walking around me. Well, I expect my musicians to be able to do this and this. Are you living with him? I'm like, okay, you know what, Gemini? Screw this. I get up. I stand up with the bass. The bass almost taller than he is, okay? Stand up with the bass, and me and the bass stand up next to him. Go, look. Did you listen to the demo tape or not, motherfucker? I don't care about all this shit you talking about. So he sees I'm not here for the dumb shit. So he leans back against the wall because I've cornered him into the wall. Where he's leaning against the wall like this, and I'm like, did you listen to the So he says, yeah, I listened to your demo tape. I think you got a lot of talent. I think you got a lot of potential. You can sing. You can play. Are you writing those songs? I said, yes, I'm the songwriter. Mind you, I'm 19 years old. Okay, this is young songwriting, okay? Yes, I'm the songwriter. He goes, impressive. I want to work with you. I think you got a lot of talent. I think you got a lot of potential. Then he picks up his guitar, puts it on, looks at me. I put my shit on. He says, come on, it's in B flat, and just starts wailing. He just going. I start laying a groove, motherfucker, okay? Sheila comes in. She's like, oh, yeah, come on, I'm going to jam with you. We lock. We start playing. Fink comes in. He starts. They're all grooving off of what I'm doing. He's tripping. He cannot believe that this girl is in his face doing something original because it's off the top of our heads. And it okay live. There he's on his knees, he's dancing around, he's in and out, he's just like, I can't believe a woman, bass player, he's on his knees in front of me, like, he's giving me head. I'm like, well, you need to, bitch, because I'm tired of this shit you're going through right now. So finally, after we played for a while, oh wait, I forgot this part. He says he's impressed and he can't believe that I'm rolling with him. So he says, all right, you solo now. Now I hadn't learned how to solo yet. So I figured I'm going to just go into another line. So I just went into another line. He was like, oh shit. And I did that. Like, well, this is my solo right now, motherfucker. So he's blown away.
Okay.
Blown away. He's lit. His eyes are so big. He's just tripping. Here comes a tech running in the room. Miles Davis is trapped under a helicopter at the airport. He needs your help or some shit. So he goes, oh, he looks at me, throws a guitar up in the air, runs out the room. The tech comes from the side and goes, choop, catches the guitar. Sheila runs out. Fink runs out. I'm standing there I start leaning against the wall, go, and I'm standing there like, I can't believe this. Sheila comes back in. She says, Princess apologizes. He has to go get Miles Davis from under the helicopter. He told us to keep on playing. I said, okay. So Fink comes back in, and me and Sheila and Fink play some more stuff of my music, because I'm writing the shit. It's not Fink going here, play with this. You understand? And the drummer, you know what the deal is. Drummers don't write nothing. You know what I mean? So it's me playing what I'm playing and them following in with me. So they're like, this she's deep. So we finished playing. So Sheila says, come on in here. Let's sit down and talk. She and I go in this little lounge. We sitting there talking. I'm getting something to drink now. I'm like, sweating. And I'm like, I can't believe I just did this with my idols. And I'm telling them, like, you guys are my heroes. You're my idols. This is like, she says, let me tell you, Prince is beyond impressed with you. Okay, we all are. And he's never, ever done this before. No one's ever come in here uninvited, unannounced, and gotten through to him and got to him where he's with them. He is with you. He is beyond impressed. Definitely is going to be calling you. She gives me her little number there because they had to stay there, finish recording. It was the Love Sexy album they were finishing. Okay. So they had just finished like Alphabet Street and shit. Right. So I'm like, cool. Oh, she tells me, gives me tips like, yeah, always make sure you go out in heels when you perform. As a woman, you want to be seeing stuff. She said, I always play in heels and drums. Of course, she don't now because she older. She, people get older, realize that heel shit will kill you. But at the time, that's what she told me. And I did up until recently when we all started getting older, realized, oh, that shit's crazy. Put on some flat shoes. Okay. So, so then I came back, and then sure enough, the next day, the engineer, Susan and them called and said, listen, Prince is going to call you. So stay by your phone. Cause it's just an analog phone. What do you call it? The normal phone, the rotary phone at the boarding house. So I'm literally hoarding over this phone at this boarding house, like making people go outside to the phone booth. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's 15 degrees below zero. Prince is calling me on this phone, and until he does, nobody uses this phone. Okay? I'm on top of the phone like this. Nobody uses this phone, okay? So he calls. Hi, this is Prince. I'm like, hi, this is Starr. So he says, um, I just want to apologize for having to leave. You know, I had to go get Miles Davis underneath the helicopter and all this stupid shit. He's all right now. I'm like, oh, good. He's like, I wanted to thank you for jamming with me in audition. I said, oh, no, thank you. Thank you for letting me crash your pad and come in unannounced like that. He said, well, he said, you are pretty miraculous and I'm very impressed and want to work with you. He said, now I have to finish this album, The Love Sexy. But and he said, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you can stay here with me while I finish, and then we can get to your project. And I'm listen, remind you, I'm 19, so I'm trying. You know, I don't have the brilliant queen savvy that I do now. So at 19, I was like, he told me to stay with him. So then he goes on. Then we're gonna go out on the Love Sexy tour. And he said, after that, then we could get to your project. He said, but I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you could stay here with me if you want while I finish this, and then we could get to your project and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, And I'm looking at Armand, who's staring down my throat while I'm on the phone with Prince. And I'm like, Now, he didn't ask me already about this man, so he's making a move, right? I'm figuring this out in my head on the phone. So then he said something else. You know, we got to go out on tour, finish this, and blah, blah, blah. He said, no, he said it again. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but you can stay here with me if you want until I blah, blah, blah. So it dawned on me that he was hitting on me hard and I should not go that way, which I wasn't anyway. I wasn't there to be vanity in them. I'm there to be me. So I said, like, I don't know where this wisdom came from. Listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to school because I'm still in college. I go back to school and finish. And then by the time I finish and you finish the album and the tour, we can get together and do what we're going to do. And he's like, I respect that. I'm so glad that you came to me and I'm going to remember you and you take care and be, you know, look for me when I contact you. And I said, well, thank you so much. You know, we said these long goodbyes and shit. So, you know, hung up the phone like, wow, the Prince experience. Well, it didn't end there because a year and a half later, when George Clinton and the Parliament-Funkadelic hire me as the first female musician member of the group, I tell George this story, but guess what? Uncle G is signed to Paisley Park at the time. Who in the fuck could figure that one?
This twist.
You know what I mean? I'm like, what? You signed to Paisley Park now too? What? So he's like, oh yeah, we going back there. I'm taking you with me. We going back. I said, you know what? I don't know if he'll remember me, George. Honestly, you know, it was an encounter just for a couple days. And, you know, he's like, are you crazy? How many times do you think that has ever happened in that place to that man? Never. And it hadn't. And it still hadn't after that. He said he's going to remember you the rest of his life. Okay? Yes, he's going to remember you. Don't worry. So I go out with the P-Funk, go to Europe. All right? Come back. We go to Chicago, then Minneapolis. Because all of Prince's acts had to report in for some television show that he was doing. So George, being an act on Paisley Park, he and the P-Funk had to go. So, you know, And this was after Graffiti Bridge. Okay, that's why he's still there, right? So we get there, and sure enough, George got me right up with him. It's like Gary Scheider, me, some other people, Belita, other important P-Funk people. We walking. Prince and George see each other. George, Prince, hey! He looks around his shoulder. He goes, Starr! Screams. Starr Cullars, last name too. George and everybody went. Like, Prince knows you? And now I'm like, oh, shit. I said, yeah, he knows me. So now everybody's tripping. Prince is tripping. George is like, yeah, she funkadelic. She funkadelic. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. Yeah. George is cocky. He walking through King George. Prince is like, wait a minute. What are you doing, George and them? Well, he's having a stroke, right? Billy Batts, the promoter the promoter of the club with the white glasses. He's a real person in the thing. He's there. He comes up to Lodge and some other P-Funk guys like, listen, Prince wants Starr badly, so I need to get some contacts on her. What's going on? Is she with y'all? Because Prince wants her badly. So Prince and George go through this tug of war thing. Prince wants me, Belita, and Michael Hampton to leave and come with him. Now, had business been better on the P-Funk end, we could have done it. Just gone and done a little project, come back. All right. Egos is too big. Egos is tripping. George wasn't having it. Yeah. No, they're funkadelic. You can't, and you really can't have Starr because he really wanted me. Yeah. So Billy Batts calls Lodge Curry's house in Detroit. and says, listen, man. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, here's a session for the session stuff you did, blah, blah, blah. Listen, man, I'm trying to find Starr Cullars for Prince. He wants her real bad. Where is she? Lodge is like, what? He tells me this. I call up George and Archie, the head manager who hired me. George, Archie, Prince wants me. What's going on? Like, George says, oh, yeah, he wants you. He wants you bad. Yeah, he tripping because you funkadelic. He can't have you. You ain't going nowhere. You funkadelic. And I'm just sitting there like, I'm a pawn in Superstar's chess game. Yeah. Okay? Prince and George in their chess game, and I'm the, okay? Like, isn't this a trip? It was a major lesson to me about control and being in power. Truly. As the rest of that went on, Prince came to several P-Funk shows in Europe and the States coming after me. And they fought him. Nope. It was a trip. So, I guess if I would have had the business savvy and a manager with me to back me up, maybe I would have went and came back. But without, that power and being young, I just didn't have that savvy to work that one. But that's what happened to me. So, for the rest of the time, whenever Prince's name would come up, George would make sure to let people know, oh yeah, he wants Starr, but he never gonna have her, never, never. And I'm like, and this a trip? Well, what are you gonna do with me? Whole nother story, okay? What you were supposed to do and what didn't happen, what actually happened, So life lessons. Life lessons. To this day, Alan Leeds still is as fond memories of he and I during those early times. And of course, I would love to sit down and speak with him now because I would totally talk about our boy. But craziness that's how my professional career began between two legendary superstars and being their desired princess or whatever. Crazy.
That's a true testament to the talent that you have or had at that age already. So that's a true testament because those legends had already been in the game and accomplished so much. So they knew they had the eye. They knew what they were looking at.
Just as insane as I guess so, man. I guess so. It's just like you look back and I'm blessed. I'm so thankful and blessed that to have come through them both. And even when I tell the story now and look back, it sounds crazy, even listening back. But I'm like, that's what happened. So what you gonna do? One time Gary Scheider, bless his soul, I miss him too greatly. Um, One time in New York, uh, we were at the Tramps or BB Kings, or one of them, and uh, I had opened for the P Funk with my band because George, after all that and after the Japanese deal and all that fell through, and after the Sony thing that he kind of burned me on, and I fell out with him, and he wanted me back in the group. I came back. Then he decided to allow me to open for him because he had done all this crooked shit, and I was like, all right, if you want me to come back, I'm gonna have to have this, this, and this. So understanding that I was never going to get paid as an opening act with George Clinton, I got all these other things, um, including press and interviews and dressing rooms and all this stuff. So this one time I opened for them in New York, and Will Calhoun from Living Color, my boys, because I've opened for them as well, my brothers from Living Color, is there, and I go back to sit in with, I go back to play with P Funk after I open. This is now during the P Funk show. So they're like, come on, Starr, do Red Hot Mama. So Will was like, let me play with Starr. Like, cool. Me and Will crush Red Hot Mama. Come off stage. Yay, yay, brother, brother. George and Gary Scheider are standing at the end of the stairs like mafiosi dons, like mafiosi gods, right? And they're both standing there just as serious. And they say to me, Starr, come here. They said, listen. George puts his hand on my shoulder and says, you are one of us. You are like me and Gary. Gary says, you are one of us. You are your own star. He said, you don't need to do cover songs. You and your music are it. You and your music is already at this level. You are one of us. So concentrate on continuing to do your music and because you don't have to they literally told me you are like me and Gary and George. You're one of us. You're not one of the normal play, and they said it to me privately.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to like curtsy, like, thank you, funk guys, hugged them, like, thank you, because, and I thought about it later, and how they treated me, and what you just said was, that was, they were letting me know that that's how they judge my abilities and whatnot. So you know, man, listen, this thing we do, you gotta love it, and if you don't love it, you know, you're never gonna have any peace, because if you're waiting for some industry thing, you know, to blow you up and make you famous, and you're on the top of the billboard and you're on MTV. MTV don't even exist anymore. Okay, I mean that way, you know, you're gonna drive yourself crazy, or you're gonna, you know, make yourself self-destruct. You really have to love what you do because you love it, and then hopefully you can know your learn your value, excuse me, your worth, and hopefully your love of doing it and your knowing your worth will, you know, hopefully, you know, you know, you don't know, some people's, it never does that way, but those just those lessons that, and you really, you can't know this until you go through stuff. You know what I mean? I could have never. I wouldn't have learned this in a textbook in a music industry text. You understand? I had to go through this stuff, and that's another thing too. People to realize that when you put yourself out there in this, you really have to have the courage, because you're putting yourself out there, and even more so back then. Like I said, there wasn't this internet. I couldn't just send a little video on the computer and sit back and. I had to get my ass up and drive to Minnesota, and you know, go play physically. You know, so um, it definitely paying dues in a way that really is substantial. You know what I mean? Where you really know I paid these dues. Honey, these dues have been paid.
That's
You
why
know.
up so fast in this opening act, because you know you paid your dues, and people know, people see you, people hear you, people know what you got, so you're giving it to them, and we want to see you as that opening act. So we're looking forward to hopefully you getting that win.
Oh, come on, people, keep on voting. We gonna keep on voting to see what happens, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep on doing that, because let me tell you, we get there. You know me, my manager, your boy Tally. All right, we gonna be going to New York, and you know, so yeah, we're excited. We're gonna see what happens.
That's her. You remember the very first concert you did with George?
Ooh, child. Okay, you mean playing bass?
Yeah, your very first gig with them. You remember that?
Okay. Yes,
How did-
because I was in the group about 8 9 months before I was playing on stage. I was management. I was Archie's management. You know what I mean? I was management. I was out there taking care of the band. I was taking care of George. I was, you know, doing deep stuff, and at the same time learning all this P Funk music, with
Okay.
Gary and Boogie and Mudbone and Frankie, and you know, everybody, Bird and Michael and Lodge and them. So Flip, Peanut, so Ron Ford. So
Okay.
um, yeah, you know, so I was in music school out there with them, but I was doing management shit. So when I got to play, I had already been auditioning for the band. You understand? I had to audition for George, Archie by themselves first. That's how I got hired. Then when I got in, I had to audition for the band. When I was in, okay, in a room in Blackbird's room. I'll never forget that shit. It was so unnerving and frightening. I was more nervous playing for the P Funk than I was playing with Prince and Sheila and them,
All
because they were so ignorant. They were so hard, and they
right.
was like, you know, You know what I mean? They were like motherfuckers. They were awful. So I got through that with them, and then Lodge was showing me. Actually, I had already started learning the Funkadelic section that I was doing with George in Detroit. He was telling me, okay, you do this and this. And then Lodge was finished fine tuning me. The section that I came in playing was something that he was doing, and he just gave it to me. This whole section, the whole end of the show. So we were in Tennessee, out touring. We touring hard, right? We in Tennessee. We getting ready to go on. So Lodge says, all right, we're going to do it tonight. Now, this means he was going to give me his bass, put me out there on stage, and when Red Hot Mama was called, and I was going to be plugged in and playing when George and them turned around. So I go out there, plug in, I'm standing there, mic and them, I'm playing. And it's grooving. So they don't realize yet that it's not Lodge because they're up front and I'm at the back line, with the guitar line, with the back line. And, they're up front doing their little bullshit. So when they turn around, Red Hot Mama from Louisiana, when they turn around, George and Gary and Muck, they do a triple take. They almost fell off the fucking stage. George looked and went and realized that I was holding it down. So Gary picks up his guitar, he starts playing with me. George all of a sudden goes, that's to present you when he does that. Presenting you. So all of a sudden, by the end of the song, they're going, Starr Cullars, Funkadelic. And that was it. That was the baptism of fire. They all were like, you the shit, you were one of us. And then that was it.
And that was
and then, and I used to do 3-4 songs. It would depend on what was happening. But I would do the whole old Funkadelic section and end the show. And me and Clip and Gary, Peanut, whoever the drummer would be up there, whether it would be Bird or Frank, whoever, we'd finish out the show.
That's dope. You released, shortly after that, you're actually doing your own projects. You also released a live project.
Oh yeah,
really dope. One of the singles off there, "Let Your Stars Shine." Talk a little bit about putting that project together, that concert project.
Well, when we started my band on the East Coast. Actually, my first show was in New York City.
Okay.
And then we just were doing shows in New York, Philly, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, DC, Baltimore, just the East Coast corridor.
Gotcha.
Okay. And, like I said, I was booking my own shows. That shit was hard. Talking to these little assholes, begging to get into these clubs, taking all this crap. I mean, I went through it all. And when George and I fell out at Topophone, because I'm in the group, I'm all over the Topophone album. Literally, you hear my voice. If you know my singing voice, you can listen to the Topophone album and hear my voice in the songs. That's how prominent I am all over the motherfucker. Well, George stopped the Sony deal that I was being signed to at the same time because he wanted to control it. So when they stopped my demo deal, I was livid. I was through. I want to kill the old man. Fuck them. Fuck y'all. I was out.
Yeah.
George called me back and begged me to come back out. And I was like, listen, if I'm coming back out this motherfucker, I gotta open with my band when I want. Cause see, I'd already been screwed out of 2 record deals with him. I'm not talking about just the Prince deal. 2 record deals with George. If we count the Prince deal, that's 3. Okay? So I was done. I was like, I should have been had deals. Okay, deals is falling on my head, and why haven't I signed to them? Okay, so when we started opening, we said, all right, we got to make sure we record all the live shows that we can. Get the recording from the board or who, where we got to get it from. So that's what we started doing. So that live album happened after like a year and a half of all these different gigs.
Very cool.
Opening for Living Color, opening for P-Funk, here. We put it together, and that's what the live album is. So one of those songs on the live album, like Kick Your Motherfucking Ass, before I recorded it on the latest album, I had just written a prototype of it. I was like, you know what? Let's try this out live and see how this works. So I did it opening for P-Funk at the Electric Factory in Philadelphia, and they recorded it. And we called Clip Payne out. And it's one of the best live recording shows. It's so fucking badass. The crowd is screaming and cheering. I'm screaming at them. Clips all over the place. It's just unbelievable. And that's on there. And when I listened back to it, I'm like, wow, one of the famous DJs in Philadelphia from WDAS FM, Lord, I forget her name, Deanna Williams, introduced me. And when you hear her, she's clearly a radio DJ. I mean, if you listen to the beginning, she goes, a lady from Philadelphia. She's toured and played with George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. And what's best about this evening is that she is one of our own. Let's give her a nice warm round. Starr Cullars and the Enterprise. Philadelphia's own. Give it up. And then we go into Kick Your Motherfucking Ass. I mean, it's unbelievable. The recording is like, God damn. So, when stuff like that would happen, that goes on the live. So that's how the live CD happened.
Great way to open that album too. Like just boom, hit you in the. That's an awesome set. Still sounds good. Sounds awesome.
Oh man, thanks, man. You know what? What you saying? What'd you say, Ben?
I was just saying this is still I was just telling my viewers to please get it and stream it still because it's out there and it sounds just like amazing. It sounds like you're there when you listen.
Well, you know what? You just opened the door for my next thing I'll be doing shortly. I'm gonna re-release all 3 of my CDs separately. The first one, Welcome to the Universe, I don't even know if you've ever heard or seen that one.
No.
That's my very first one. Okay. So I have to put that out again. I'm gonna put the live one out again. And the current one is also going to be remastered and re-released with some new things. So, I realized like, hey, I have material people haven't even heard yet.
Yeah.
That I need to get out there to you know what I mean? Anytime people say, oh, we have new music, I'm like, I got music that people never heard. There would be new music. Right. And that's something that I learned too from George. Like, don't get caught up into, oh, you got to always put out something new every time you go tour, every time you go do. No. You probably have tons of songs already done that have never been released. Yep. That you can, and that's how I am. I have a whole album that no one's ever heard that I've never released. That was my first shit. Okay, people. So, Starr Cullars has material for you. Okay, she got it, baby. She's gonna put it out. All right. Yeah. So and then you know what? I learned too that that when you don't burn yourself out trying to constantly throw out something just because somebody tells you to, you keep your music quality, you keep it good, and you don't put out garbage.
Yeah,
I don't like just putting out anything because somebody said put something out and it's crap.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay? You want to be putting it out where it's great music. So, that happened to our boy. That did. He got burned out. He did. You know what I mean? So, you learn from that. You don't want that to happen. Music is eternal. Okay? I just watched the Chevalier movie, and why am I and everybody else just learning about this incredible black man in France during the French Revolution who was a maestro and a conductor and a composer who taught Mozart, who was also an abolitionist and a general, and all this? Watch the Chevalier movie.
Oh, see, now you need to school me on that one because I'm not knowing.
Okay, check this out. In 18th century France, there was a black man named Joseph de Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint George.
Okay.
Now, he was just like Mozart, only deeper. A black man. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? He was amazing. He was incredible. And he wrote all these concerts and concertos and maestros and things. He was an abolitionist. He helped end slavery. He was a general. He helped the French win the French Revolutionary War. It's unbelievable that we didn't learn about him in school. But thank God somebody put out this movie so we can all learn about this incredible man. He was the first prince back in the 1700s. You hear me? Do you understand what I'm saying? You got to watch this movie. Okay?
Where can I find that? Where is that?
Netflix. If you got the Amazon stick,
Okay.
just go on and type in Chevalier. I'm gonna type it to you. Okay? And
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a look at that. That's
okay, listen, hon. There it is, Chevalier. Okay, you have got to watch this shit tonight.
okay.
All right, because you're gonna be blown away.
Yeah.
He was literally an early Hendrix, an early Prince. Those classical musicians were them today. You know what I mean? Mozart and Beethoven and de Boulogne were Jimi Hendrix and them today.
Right.
Okay, they were playing violin. All right, you're gonna be astounded. But here's my point: this man's music is world standard classics today. Now his shit's hundreds of years old.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about us in our modern age. Okay,
Man.
Prince. Thank goodness he wrote great music those first few decades because we have that incredible music now. From Uncle George and the Mugs. Thank goodness. There's all this music that they did. I'm thankful to be part of the Topophone album because it's the last great album of Parliament-Funkadelic. Okay, in the mid '90s. Music is eternal.
Absolutely.
Great music is awesomely eternal. So you know what I mean? Yeah, so don't get caught up in this. I gotta be the new, catch the new. What? No. Concentrate on your music and your art. Let it flow through you. You probably got some stuff that's gonna be classics if you let it breathe, if you let it have life, if you give it some life. Okay? Understand? I'm giving my music some life so I can give it back out here to y'all. Okay?
That's what it's all about.
Come on now.
Your lab Galaxy is a very 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 good project. Like I said, Let Your Star Shine is one of the singles off the album. Talk a little bit about putting that project together, and then also putting your band together. How do you choose to put your band members together to put your albums and your live concerts together?
Great question. The albums happen just kind of by osmosis. When I feel I have at least 10 or 12 songs, if maybe Lodges and I have written a couple together, but I'll go to him and say, okay, here's these songs. Let's produce them. Let's do pre-production. What do you think? Because he's my producer. I would consider myself a producer now,
Yeah.
but in my earlier day, I would Lodge was definitely not. I learned a lot. Um, and then they just kind of do it like that.
Yeah.
Now, who we have playing, that has also been an osmosis of change. Okay, for my first album that I told you about, Welcome to the Universe, that you haven't even heard or seen yet, we did that in Philadelphia, and we utilized my Philadelphia band at the time, which was Sean Hill on drums, Chuck Treese on drums. Chuck Treese is the one that played live with us on the live CD.
Okay.
You hear live saying Chuck, and he's like, and I also use Michael Hampton
Okay.
and Blackbird Midnight on one song each on the first album. Okay, so my first album was myself, our tech Brett on one song, Michael Hampton on one song, Blackbird on one song, and then me launching the drummer. Okay. The live album was, we just explained that with different combinations of shows that we thought sounded well to put on the record. And then this Living Galaxy, I had some of the songs, half of the songs were from touring.
Okay.
Like they were songs that I was putting out here touring to see how they would work.
Okay.
I did a what do you call it, jam band circuit tour in 2004 to 2006, and during that time, I was prototyping some of those songs and doing them live. Then, when I finished and came back, moved, from Los Angeles to San Diego, and got reacclimated, and then said, "Oh, you know what? I got to finish this album." So then, finished the songs. Elijah and I finished them, and then so for the Living Galaxy, it was my drummer Sandro out here, a Brazilian drummer Sandro Feliciano, and me and Lodge, and Neil Faison, who people, the brilliant and incredible Neil Faison is on this record too. So it's us four. That's it. So live, of course, I like to have who I had on the record. I only have a 3-4 piece band. That's as large as I go. If I go any larger than that, somebody's sitting in as a guest. You know what I'm saying? My band's never gonna be larger than 4. Like U2 and Living Color, right? But I toured as a 3-piece power trio for a while, like Cream and Rush. I did the power trio thing. I'll do that in a heartbeat,
Yeah.
right? So that's what I do live now. What I'm doing now, okay, for a few different reasons too. I'll just say this, because people's lives and schedules are caught up.
Mhm.
They might not always be available when I would like them to come play with me. And since I'm not wielding the Prince George Clinton power clout, people don't jump necessarily when you want them to. And here's the big one. It's the political reason. I have found that not Many men at all like to be told what to do by a female band leader.
A lot of men don't like to be told what to do by a woman, period. Just
Now, yeah, okay. I understand you mugs having issues with your wives and women and daughters and mamas and whatever, but let me tell you something. When it comes to me,
get it together. Get it together.
when it comes to me and performing, I realized something valuable. If you men, and I don't mean you,
You're right.
if men, y'all men's is folk, have a problem taking peaceful musical orders from a woman, from me, from this Amazon, let me tell you something, honey. I don't need any of it. Okay. I can go out by my goddamn self with microphone, with bass and bass amp and effects, and stand there by my goddamn self and give the performance, song, musicianship of life. So, guess what? That's what I'm doing right now at the request of different entities in the industry around me saying, Star, we love to see you perform by yourself. You don't have to have a whole band if you don't have one at the time. Because I'm gonna tell you, JD, I spent a few years paralyzed in paralyzed inactivity, worried and stressed about having a band. I mean, worried and stressed, like, oh God, I can't do no better band. What am I gonna do? Okay, till I realized, and I had one of my dear friends in my Buddhist practice tell me, Star, you've been performing at Buddhist meetings by yourself for years. And I have been in my Buddhist meetings for years by myself. Not professional polished, shows that I do now, but I have been doing it. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. I had already been doing that. All you need to do is get your professional tools and equipment, and you can keep on doing that you've been doing at the Buddhist meetings for years. And just to give you further professional reference, there's a wonderful British white lady named K.T. Tunstall. She's a white lady, plays guitar and sings, songwriter. What is one of her songs? Can't remember right now, but if you look up her name, she got some hits. She been out for a while.
Okay.
She, like me, started out with a band of guys playing with her, and now she performs solo by herself. She did New Year's Eve on CNN by herself. It was awesome. And she just gave me the green light to say, hello, you're the same thing. Go do it. Don't sit here paralyzed, tripping about these men who too tripped out to stay with you because they're tripping about me being a band leader and a songwriter and the bass player. Go do it your damn self. So, yeah.
There it is.
There it is. Okay? There it is. And yes, when I tell Skeet and Bird and all these other people that I'm going out by myself, they look at me scared to death. Like, I would never do it. Well, of course you would never do it because you're not me. Don't get me started. All right. It's a shame that you have to go this way, but you know what? It's very empowering.
Yeah.
And it also gives me the super invincibility of life. So I can go with band or without band, darling.
Yeah.
Okay? Nothing stops the Starr Cullars show.
That's a true testament to the woman that you are, the Amazon princess. Like I said earlier in our discussion, the master of her game and the master of her divinity. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm sure some people are going to be like, what's she mean? She means exactly what she said.
Yeah.
Listen again.
In this life, you gotta do it, man. You're here with a purpose. You know your purpose, so go after it and show people what you have to offer. So you have one.
Isn't it
Have
isn't that what God, what the universe wants us to do with the gifts that we've been given?
exactly
Isn't it a sin not to? Right? If you've been blessed with something, aren't you supposed to give it to the world?
especially if
Put
you
it out there.
if you know that you have it, especially if you know that you have that talent. Why hold it back? You know, share it.
Share. Totally.
Your gift can
Totally.
help somebody or make someone forget about their problems. So
Exactly.
many things that your gift can do to a person. So
Exactly.
definitely
Exactly.
inspiration, and you don't even know it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing too. See, fear, get some light going on there. There we go. Fear, keeps people paralyzed.
Yeah.
It is fear is debilitating. And I never want to go back to that feeling. I remember so clearly. I would like almost couldn't breathe worrying about personnel in a band. It was ridiculous. So yeah, you want to keep yourself positively fueled and positively, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to ever feel like uh, you're hopeless.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Our job should be to be inspirational and to instill some hope all the time. So you know, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we expect some new music from you, Star. We got some new joints from coming from the girl herself.
I am working on some things.
Okay.
I am working on some things. I'll probably release my Welcome to the Universe CD,
Nice.
which, for all intents and purposes, is new to everybody in the world.
Right.
So that'll probably be first, and within about 2 months, maybe
Okay. I was
month
just
and a half, 2 months.
way too long there.
No, 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 not it. Hopefully, I would like to say sooner, but I don't like to, you know. So I'm saying about a month and a half or two for sure for that one, and of course, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens with this opening act thing because you you know what I mean, JD. Hey, you know what? I might be giving you one of them plane tickets if you want to roll with us.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a
You know what I mean? Like, all right, we're going to New York, everybody. Come on, let's go, let's go.
plan. Yeah. Yeah. Take care of that business, man. Get
All right.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, I'm so thankful that you came back and to have a discussion with me, talk about where you've been, what you're doing, and your career and so forth. It's always a pleasure.
Man, I love talking with you, and I love what you're doing right now. By the way,
Much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I love it. Keep going. You gotta keep. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta keep.
Just keep us. You gotta keep them. That's what people don't realize. It's like there's no one. You just you make a milestone or something, keep going.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I mean? Keep going.
we got uh, we got good heroes. You know, our heroes inspire us. You know, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
our James Browns, our Slides, our Georges, our Princes, our Michael Jacksons. Those are our heroes, and those are the people that we grew up with, and they're kind of instilled in our musical blood. So all of that comes
You're right.
out of us when
You're
we
right.
get into the music. So I think that we have good heroes that kind of.
I think you're right. I think we have great heroes, and I think we were very fortunate and blessed to, come up as young people
Hmm.
with those incredible people
Yeah, I
to learn from.
can't agree more. Definitely, and still, a lot like you said earlier, a lot of those people are not here.
Mm-hmm.
Timeless, never goes away, never dies, and it just still takes you back to the first time
Oh
that
yeah.
you heard it or saw the person.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Look, Queen, I'm so honored to have you back. And if you don't mind, before we disconnect, if you can let everybody know where we can find you, your music, and any social handles that you like to give to my audience for it.
Absolutely. My beautiful peoples of JD's Purple Cosmic World. You can find my latest CD at walmart.com. You can also find at Amazon as well. I am all over Google. If you just Google my name, you'll find many different things, different articles and things. Oh, did I mention that that placement in that guy's baseball? Uh, um, Wait a minute. I'm number 21
Oh,
in
oh man, okay.
Titans of Bass by KJ Jensen,
Okay.
and I am number 21.
Ah, now how long ago did that book come out, Star?
This book just came out this past year.
Just came out this past. Okay, yeah. Everyone look for that. Is amazing. Wow. Number 21, Titan. Number 21.
And
Wow.
he has me in here like 3 times. He's majorly featured me in here. I was like, oh my gosh, KJ, this is amazing.
Gotta
So
that. Yeah.
this is an honor because this kind of shows what you were saying earlier, the combination of
Yeah.
the work put in, and you know what I mean, and all that. So
Have it.
yeah, this is a great book. Great interviews of all these different people and stuff. But I am honored to be in here featured. Surely,
This is
true.
available on Amazon and
This is available on Amazon. This is Barnes and Noble.
okay. And who is the author once again? KJ.
KJ Jensen.
All right, perfect. We got that on the screen. That is amazing.
Okay. So so I got stuff like that. This you know what I mean?
And Star is the first and only female musician in the P-Funk family. So she has an amazing credit, just being the OG, the OG's OG. No other woman has been able to bring it since. So
Well, yeah, yeah.
holds that still not down. She's a powerhouse. So if you don't, if you have Star in concert when she hits your town and gets ready to hit one of these venues soon, please go support her and go see her. You will not be disappointed. She kicks ass. So just definitely go see her.
Thank you, darling. Thank you, darling.
I appreciate
So
you the fullest. And
I love speaking with you. I just love coming on your show. I love it. I love everything you're doing. Keep doing your masterful, articulate
appreciate it.
media work.
Appreciate it.
Keep doing your musician work. You are so special and and important, like so important to this whole thing that we're doing. So you keep yourself together and going, and I guess we'll see what happens with this opening act thing, everybody. Woo.
Yeah, and you said you know, it's important, and you guys are important to me too. So we're all important to each other. So we're all, you know, the way I look at it, we're all in this together. You
Yep.
know, we're all funking for fun. We're funking for the same mission. So we gotta have each other's back in this damn thing. You know what I'm saying?
Funkin' for fun, funkin' for family,
Yeah, man. We
funkin' for real, baby.
gotta have each other's back in this game. So you know,
That's right.
it's only a handful of us left. So we got to be
That's right.
back important. You know, any new projects and things like that we're working on, we want
Sweet.
to be able to talk about these, present to the.
Sweet.
But thank you so much, and to
You are welcome.
viewers, Still Soul presents Starr Cullars, most talented woman on earth here from the people.
Woo.
We thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so
Thank you so much, darling. Much love, much peace.